Welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are having an amazing day and an even better first week of Halloween. This week has been a little bit hectic because it is the first week of Inktober. So most of what you guys are going to see today is going to be just me inking it. I did a lot of sketching at school and while I was getting ready for bed, stuff like that. So a lot of just the sketching I don't do on camera, but I do all of the inking on camera because I know that's what really matters this month. So without further ado, here are my first 6 Inktober drawings.
So I started off with my first prompt, which was glass, and initially I didn't really have any specific thing in my head that made me want to do this, but after a little bit of thought I was like, hey, what if I just draw like an astronaut helmet? Those are made of glass, right? I don't know if they are, but then I was like, that's not enough glass and I feel like it's kind of cheap, so I drew little like shards of glass flying around a little astronaut girl. I really like how the drawing turned out, and the lining is fine too, but the coloring, I guess you'll just have to see, but it's not exactly how I expected it to turn out. I should honestly spend more time planning coloring before actually just going in and doing it, because I'm really bad about that and it doesn't always turn out the way I'd like. But overall, this one was kind of a very extravagant first piece type of day, because it's the first day of Inktober. So obviously my brain's running, my body's like, I'm so excited to do art really extravagantly that I just do something crazy the first day, and then every day after it gets worse except for random days where I feel inspired. But if you notice that throughout this, yeah. But basically, I started with this one and I was really happy with how it turned out, and I was excited to draw like a whole space scene, and I was excited too to play around with lighting because I really wanted the shards of glass to be like reflecting light almost from I don't know where, but they would be like a glowing pink color, and then that pink would be on her face, and then the space behind her, like the stars or whatever, would be also glowing, and so it would have lighting behind her also. But I didn't do so amazing. I mean, you'll see. I won't spoil it. I'm sorry. But basically, yeah, I was excited to play with lighting and I was just having fun doing it, so I didn't take the prompt too seriously, which is nice. This is a bit of foreshadowing, but it's basically the main reason I didn't like this drawing is that I used Prismacolor markers with my Copics, and if you weren't aware, they don't really act the same together, so they're really hard to blend together without picking the other marker up, and I should have found that out when I started using a Prismacolor purple for the background and nothing was blending with it, but I guess I just was stubborn and kept doing that. And because I've drawn this same character a bunch of times with this certain skin tone, I was like, I have to use this skin tone, and it just got really sloppy. And here we begin with my biggest mistake of all, and my cat running across my book as she does every day. But my biggest problem is I didn't look up any photos of lighting, I didn't test the colors before I used them, I didn't think about the fact that Prismacolor and Copics don't work well together, and I also was planning to do everything inside her little glass helmet to be lighter than everything outside of it, but I still picked a darker skin tone that would be her normal skin tone, so it looks really goofy and it blends in with the line work, which sucks. But I really like a lot of aspects about this piece. I'm basically critiquing it so that I know what to do for the future, and this is a good thing as long as you're not too harsh on yourself. I mean, know that every art is just practice, and some pieces turn out really well and some don't, but as long as you learn from all of them, like, it was worth it in the end. And I learned a lot from this one, mostly that I should try colors before using them and not mix Copics with Prismacolor markers when I'm trying to blend evenly. But, that's a rookie mistake. Like, I've recovered, and I feel like the rest of my prompts I didn't go so hard, which was really good. You'll see the first 6 because this is coming out on October 6th, so obviously I had to do the first 6 prompts for this week, and I'll probably hopefully get the next 7 done next week, and so on until October ends. So, yeah. The little patch on her chest is just some dumb thing. I think I spelt something wrong because I didn't bother to look up, so I just made it some random nonsense patch. So don't ask what that is, it means nothing. I could have easily just wrote NASA, but I'm not smart enough to do that. Oh, also, if you're wondering, I'm using a colorless blender from Copics to try and blend out that pink more into the white of, like, her suit and the, like, glowing off of the crystals. So that's what that is. So here is when I started to be aware of the fact that not deciding colors before I started drawing was a problem, because all of the background is a darker color, and then I made the space background in her helmet lighter, which means that I should have used a lighter skin tone and hair tone as well for her and left a lot more white space, but instead I didn't, and I filled it all up with, like, weird mid-tones. And that was my biggest flaw with it, but overall I really like it, and I hope you guys do too. It was a lot of fun to play around with the little space background, and this is the second day. So if you've seen with my sketch with me video, you might recognize these two because they're the ones that I draw in that video. I might have mentioned it, but their names are Cadis and Zalia, I think it is. I'd have to check because I wrote it down somewhere, but it's not in front of you right now, so if I mess that up, oops. But basically, since she's a witch, I thought that maybe they would make, like, pillow forts and stuff and, mess around with a Ouija board together. And that was my first idea, so I just went with it because I usually just do that when it comes to Inktober. Otherwise, I spend way too long on every day. So yeah, I kind of just drew them playing with a Ouija board, and when it moves, they're like, oh my god. Also, if you're wondering, the pink right here is a new Color Erase pencil I just bought. I see Drawing with Waffles draw with it all the time, and I really like it, and I have a really bad habit of being super heavy-handed when I draw. So I thought it would be a really good idea to try out because it is a firmer lead. I don't remember what that's called specifically, but basically that means when you draw, it comes onto the paper lighter versus if you draw lightly, it being darker, which is a good thing for me because of my heavy-handedness. I always draw too hard and then I can't erase it later. And I don't know why I use them for every prompt in Inktober, but yeah, this is my third day. The prompt was pomegranate, and at first I couldn't think of literally anything besides Hades and Greek stuff, but I didn't want to do anything like that because I have a prompt later that's mythology. So I started looking up pomegranate in other countries, and apparently in a couple countries pomegranates are signs of fertility and like motherhood. So I decided to draw a pregnant girl with pomegranate hair and clothes because I really didn't know what else to draw. You can't quite tell she's pregnant, but I tried to imply it with the hand, and boy was this one not fun to color. It looked really good in the end, but that little section on the dress that's white right now, I spent so long coloring that and my hand started cramping up. I cut it off halfway through because this took me like a solid 40 minutes or maybe less, I'm not sure, but it took forever and I had to stop recording so I could finish it later because my hand hurt so bad. But overall, I think it looked really fun and I feel like it looks like a pomegranate, which is exactly what I was going for. So moving right along to day 4, my prompt was pool, and I specifically chose this prompt so that no one else would do the same thing as me, because I initially was going to do 8-ball as the prompt, but I was like, what if I say pool, because people will think of like a swimming pool, not like the game pool, and then I'll have the upper hand on everyone, which doesn't really make sense. I don't know who I'm trying to deceive, but I thought it would lead to a more diverse amount of prompts if anyone else decided to draw with me, and I thought that would be a lot of fun, so I decided to write that instead. But basically the idea I had when I first started was to draw like a portrait of a girl with an 8-ball eye, but after trying a million times to make it look good, I just couldn't figure it out in my style, so I went for just a little goofy character to try and relax. As you can see, I finished the last part of it off camera because I was just needing to get in there with finer details to get those checkers, but yeah, that one was fun to do, and I used the little pink pencil to add little blushies as well. And then this one, day number 5, the prompt I chose was magic item because I knew that would give me a lot of, I guess, area to work with. And when I ended up getting there, I was like, whoa, this is so unspecific, I can't think of anything. So I ended up like searching up random item generator, and after like 20 different searches through there, it finally landed on dart, and I was like, okay, I could probably work with that. So I came up with this little character who's like a superhero or something, and she has targets all over her body, and my idea was like, if you shoot the targets, the bullets get absorbed and she like pumps them out as darts that she can throw at people. I really like this one. I think it's probably one of my favorites of this week. And this next one is also really fun. I didn't get the coloring on camera either because I was doing something really simple and I didn't think it would turn out that great. But yeah. And speaking of this one, it's the last day and the prompt is wax, and at first I was really excited to do something for this, but then I couldn't think of any like original ideas. All I could think about was Icarus in the Sun, that little story that I can't remember his name, I think it's Piccolo or whatever on Instagram wrote. It's really inspiring and I love them, but basically that's all I could think of, and originally I was gonna do more of a beeswax character rather than a regular wax character, but I ended up just drawing a pinup because, you know, we gotta have at least a couple pinups each Inktober. It's important. Girls are beautiful. Let's draw them.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed and I hope you had fun drawing along with me. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment down below how your Inktober is going. And are you guys using the official prompts? Are you using my prompts? Are you using your own prompts? I'd love to know. Other than that, I hope you guys are having a great Halloween so far, and I will see you guys next week. Here's my outfit of the week.